Okay, hello racing fans, and welcome back to another episode in the series. This one's going to be a little bit different. Of course, we've got the stable tours out there. We've just finished Gordon Elliott. We've had Sean Bowen, a load of jockeys and trainers, which is all very exciting. But delighted, Sean, aren't we? We've got the one and only Tom Malone. How's things, Tom?
All good, thanks. Yeah, pleasure to be on.
Yeah, really nice to have you. Me and Sean have been talking about this for weeks. Really looking forward to sort of picking your brain about this and that, and
Very small, so it mightn't take long.
Don't worry, you're in good company if that's the
Yeah,
case.
yeah.
That's the case. How are you though, Sean? Are you well?
Yeah, very good. Great to be on, Joe. Of course, we have Tom. He's the star of this show, so you don't need to
Absolutely.
introduce me here.
Yeah, there we go. Well, look, we'll just get straight on into it then. We won't bother about me and you, Sean. That's fine. We do, like I said, we've been really looking forward to this, Tom. And I mean, Tom, we're going to go straight on into. Just want to ask you about the sales, really, because me and Sean are big followers of point to pointers, French horses.
Mm.
We're always looking through the catalogs ourselves. But how do you manage to narrow down a catalog? It must take you weeks to narrow down the horses that you want to find when you're going to these sales. It must take some work, like.
Well, look, like uh, out there, people think we just arrive at a sale and pick up a catalogue and
Sure.
go and try and buy a horse. Sure, anyone can do that. Grand, if I told you the process, you make your eyes water. Like this starts every year at the store sales for me.
Okay.
So I will see 80% of every store sale catalogue. I will try and buy what I buy, but I will record where they've all gone after the event. Let it be to the pinhookers, being the point to point lads, or to end users. So then I know that's June, July time. I know that I'm going to see them in January again. So they've had a full 6 months of being broken, being prepared to hopefully run in the spring of a 4-year-old campaign. And then I take notes on every single one of them again. So I will see 400 horses in Ireland in January
Wow.
on three separate trips. I'll bring all that data back. I'll sit down. I'll upload. I take a picture and something recorded on every single horse I've ever seen for the last 15 years. I
Wow.
have I have notes on every single horse that I've bought, not bought, what I've seen, from the good ones to the bad ones. It doesn't matter. I can go straight to it on this computer and I can find it. So then once they run, come start of February, I can sit here with a cup of coffee. And once the decks are done on a Sunday afternoon in Linkstown or Drummond or Fairyhouse, I could go through, there's 10 runners, and I can say, well, I've seen seven of them and I liked four of them. I know straight away, oh yeah, now we're talking. Now this is a race.
Okay.
Or 10 can be declared and there was only one or two I liked.
Interesting. So,
So that's where it comes from, really.
okay. And when you go and see a horse, for example, as a store horse, and then you
Yeah.
said you go and visit them later, will you notice the physicality changes? For example, if a horse has got a bit of a high bum, for example, and then you'll see how they've leveled out over the following year and filled their
Yeah,
frame.
it's more that's more in yearlings than it would
Okay.
be in 3-year-old national hunt horses. You'll get that in younger stock.
Okay.
So flat foals to yearlings, that's a bit different. Whereas the 3-year-old jumping horses are normally pretty leveled up. There's very few that are a bit upside down these days.
Hmm.
What they will have done is they may have grown an inch, inch and a half. And that's the difference. So
Okay.
I'll know what I said about them as a 3-year-old store. And then 6 months later, I won't know what that horse is per se on that day. But
Hmm.
when I go back and say, oh shit, yeah, that's the Crystal Ocean now of
Yeah.
X, I seen that as a store. And then I go, oh, 16 hands, half an inch. And now it's 16, nearly 16 too. That's a great sign.
Okay.
That's a great sign. That means they're maturing, they're growing, they're a different animal.
Do you get the same sort of buzz out of this, Tom? I know we touched on this just off camera. You used to ride horses, you've ridden in the Grand National and all sorts of stuff. And look, do you miss that, or are you more in love
I
with the game now
I
as a buyer?
I get a far better buzz out of this. I enjoyed riding. I wasn't very good at it. I got the job done. I was allowed to ride at Cheltenham. I think I had 6 winners at Cheltenham, not the festival,
Wow.
but and I
Hey,
rode in the Grand National 3 times. So I had, because of Martin Pipe, I had a bigger career than I'd have had anywhere else.
yeah.
But the reason I had that is because I worked hard for him. And he knew that I worked hard for him. So he gave me loads of chances and we had great times. But this is just different for me. This is something I breathe.
When you said this is what you enjoy more? Of course, it's your life and your living. But is it seeing them get to the track and then winning some black type races and things like that that you
Jesus,
just are?
from here on, from last weekend at
Yeah,
Chepstow on, I'm up, I'm down, I'm up, I'm down because
yeah.
every day, like I remember going to the races and you could have won. We won the Hennessy with That's All Right Gino one day. It was an amazing day. Can Do Kid won it the following year. Brilliant, great. The bumper horse got beat and I went home depressed.
Oh wow. Okay,
Do you
fine.
know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
Because That's All Right Gino and Can Do Kids, they've been in the system for 3 years. They're doing their thing. They're good horses.
Okay.
But the
Well,
new ones are the ones that I put my life and soul into trying to find, and
yes.
they get me excited or depress me very quickly.
Yeah, yeah, sure. What about like, because you did you buy No Drama This End? You,
Yes, yeah. Well, it
yes,
was
yeah.
more. It was more so he was already in Will Biddock's yard, and we ended up going to Cheltenham to have to buy him because we couldn't really buy him privately. So yes, more so than me picking him out, I knew of him.
Yeah.
Paul knew of him. The owners knew of him. So it was kind of a joint venture. Just get it done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, sure. And you said there about sort of all the homework you do, and you see the horses a year later, and you can see the size difference. Do you think that's the difference between a big buyer, a big seller like yourself, compared to the smaller guys around? Because you've managed to find horses like Native River, Brave Man's Game, One for Arthur, Envoi Allen. The list is just tremendous. But is that the difference between someone like you and potentially a newer salesperson on the block, for example?
Well, I listen. I mean, it's not an overnight success. You know, it's a long
Sure.
time coming. I have worked 15 years in this industry, so I pride myself on knowing exactly where everything is and how
Mm,
it's happening quickly. So I suppose, if I'm being honest, I never gave myself enough of a pat for actually being so involved. I just thought, well, why wouldn't everyone know this? Why
yeah.
doesn't everybody do this? Why
Yeah.
aren't they doing it? But actually, that's a niche way. I actually look back and think, I look at a race and I look at them sales and I go through it and I go, right, yeah, no, no, yes. The form is all in my head
Yeah.
already. So I can go through that catalog as quick as lightning. And sometimes it's not the winner. It's the second and third that I get
Yeah.
really excited by. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, so that to me isn't difficult. You like all things, you can have lean years and brilliant years, but now the funnel system is that the best horses are nearly making, within reason, the most money. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because
Yeah.
everyone has it. These boutique sales, 30 and 40 horses, it's making it very difficult. In a 300 horse catalogue, horses can go up and down and
Yeah.
slip
Of
through the
course.
radar. It's getting a bit more difficult now.
And what are you looking for, Tom, when you go to these sales? Are you looking at a long line of pedigrees? Are you looking at the new stallions?
No,
Is it a bit of everything? Like it
no.
must be so,
It's the horse first.
yeah,
The
interesting. So
horse first.
the physicality in
Yeah,
things.
absolutely. That stands up in front of me, and then I pull everything else together. Now, if I've seen a wow performance, and I may have to relent on some things when it comes to that, but very rare I relent on it. I've bought a lot of slow horses, but by God, they were able to train them. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
sure,
And I
sure, yeah.
pride I pride myself on getting them a structurally sound horse. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, absolutely.
And some of the best horses I've bought were just so structurally sound and correct. You can take chances, yes, but that's because the money isn't up there. If you're going spending top dollar, and by God, I don't like taking chances of confirmation.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. On that note, people at home may not understand, Tom. Do you get given a pot of money by owners to go to the sales with, or do you
Yeah.
get given a limit, or you go and buy them yourselves and you know they're going to be sold if you're buying the right ones effectively?
Well, I buy between 130 and 150 horses a year. And I can guarantee you now, if I stopped and said, I'm only going to buy horses next year that someone tells me to buy, I'd buy 40 horses a year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
So
sure.
my whole business is, I don't need you to tell me to buy a horse.
Of
I
course.
will buy the horse that I love. And
Yeah,
you know, when it arrives in England, an owner shouldn't have to think about whether they want it. I have
yeah.
done all the donkey work
I love
of
that.
taking the guesswork out of it. That they normally, if I end up buying the wrong one and it's still here after a month or two, I have to say, you've got this one wrong, Tom. You know, you'll have to sit and suffer here now. Do you know what I mean?
Are there any that you've sort of gone in for quite heavily and not quite managed to get that you think, oh, I wish I just spent a few more quid to get this filly, or that you've missed out? Any big names that we might, or are you quite happy? Again, you've had you
I very rarely miss. when I go in for one of them. And see, when I do, I forget about it. It's dead to me. Move on.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah,
forget about it.
yeah.
I
You
uh,
know what,
I
Tom?
can't
When
think.
you
That's not
finish, just
cutting you
there for a
short.
second when you finish that one.
I can't. I'm not cutting you short. I just can't remember too many that I went. Oh shit! I wished I got that because
Yeah, yeah,
when I go in to try and buy one, I'm buying it,
yeah, yeah.
and it's only normally it's only one. I'm being taken on by some of the real powerhouses that you just think,
Yeah,
well, we can't fight.
that's what me and Sean like looking at when we see you in the ring, and then there's Harold Cook, and there's the eyes going around.
Yeah.
Do you thrive off that as well? Though you like
Oh, but
beating the
like I've
boys.
often said, sometimes I go into the ring and let's say I'm going to buy lot 50 and I know who my competition will be on 50. Now, if they've bought one or two before it, I then get really worked up because I think
Got you.
I've got you softened up now.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
not going to be as angry for lot 50 as I will be, or
yeah,
vice versa. They've missed two before it. Then I know, oh, we got to back up here now. We got to get stronger. Come on, owner. It's probably not going to go at that price. We need to just rev up a small beer, get
sure.
yourself in line, have a few whiskeys. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Just put the hands in the pockets there,
You know
Yeah.
definitely.
what, Tom? I think I've seen you full action at the Derby sales there now. I seen you pick up one of a Tunis. Do you want to just tell us maybe what was the standout there? Because you weren't stopping until you got that lad.
Well, already had the owner teed up, and it's a silly thing to say, but I kind of always overprice a horse to an owner,
Yeah.
within
Interesting.
reason, because what is the point in underpricing the horse?
Yes.
So if you've said, let's say I say it's 100 grand horse, yeah, we'll get it bought, and then it's 140. Well, what would you turn around and say to me? You'd say, well, you said it was only worth 100 grand, Tom.
Sure.
So why would I pay 140 for it? Whereas if I say it's worth 200 grand and you get it for 140, owner's delighted. He's 60 grand cheaper than he thought it was going to be.
Did that filly's gone to Owen Daly, who's got Bud Fox, I believe.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
filly.
Gavin Cromwell, the trainer.
How does that come around with like the relation there between you and Owen? Obviously, you bought Bud Fox, and now he's obviously a real horse. But how does that maintain, and how did that initial interaction with you and Owen come around, for
Well,
example?
him and his mate came into race and got in touch with me and bought two horses, Individual East and
Hmm.
Bridie's Bow. Both were in England and Individual East won a race. Bridie's Bow ran in two bumpers, was placed.
Hmm.
Didn't overly like it. Met Gavin and decided to send the two of them home. And then Gavin won twice a piece with the pair of them. And that was grand all last year that was. And then come the pint season, we were keeping in touch and we hadn't been speaking much. And then he always said to me he wanted a Cheltenham horse. And sure, what's my job to do is that when I find one or see one, ring him up and see, are you
Yeah.
still interested? And that's when Bud Fox happened. And then he went to Punchestown and won a 24 runner bumper. The
Yeah.
form has worked out amazingly.
Properly.
And yeah, well, let's hope so. Like he has to climb again, but
Yeah.
he looks the proper article that can do it.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
and that's how it maintains. And then he bought two stores, and I've just sold him another 3 year old from France.
Oh, fantastic.
That looks very smart.
Tom, you mentioned obviously this Tunis filly with Gavin Cromwell and Owen Daly. Has this filly been named yet? Is this something you're even allowed to give away at this point?
Yeah, of course, she was named when we bought her. The
Okay.
French tend to name theirs as foals and yearlings for their breeding operation. She's called Muscovite.
Okay. Interesting. There was a dam called Muscovite as well.
Yeah, there was actually. I remember that. It was owned by not Seamus Mulryan, or one of them
Yeah.
fellas
Interesting.
in Ireland anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I forgot where we were because we cut out a little bit. But sticking actually with pedigrees, Tom. There's a few that myself and Sean are always sort of looking at when we're seeing them in bumpers. Are there any in particular that when you're at the sales you see, oh, Maxios, or there's a nice Tunis, for example? Do, do, do you look for stallions, particular, or have you got a
No,
favorite?
no, it's not a case. Some people would just hone in on stallions, but I got Native River, who was by Indian River. Well,
Okay.
no one would have had Indian River. No one wanted to buy him. And the only reason I switched on was because when I was a kid in Martin Pipes, we had Madison de Burley, who was by Indian River, who won
Mm,
the Hennessy, who
wow.
was a lovely animal. And that kind of made my mind up to buy Native River. And then that pedigree came alive after that. He had
Interesting.
two or three black type brothers and sisters after him.
Yeah. Will you have a look if you find a dam a sire, for example, that just looks all, stamina? Will you try and find a dam to match with a bit of speed to sort of counteract?
That's
Or
that's not my job. That's the breeder's job. So
yeah,
what's put in
okay,
front of me, I can then decide whether I like and want to go forward with. There's probably 4 or 5 stallions I won't touch. The rest I can buy. The rest I could buy. There's not a problem.
yeah. Is there a stallion you think is going to be pretty good this year anyway? Tunis is because Tunis, for example, is becoming quite popular quite quick, just like
Yeah,
Maxi is
yeah. I
from.
suppose we're trends. You're watching trendsetters, really, aren't you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So sometimes you can. It's useful to stand back from what everyone believes is a trend and just have a look around because you get a bit more value. But if I'm honest, is the one I'm looking for? No, not really. But I do love Poet's Word.
yeah, okay,
No, I
interesting. Yeah,
think I think he just could be because he's putting scope, he's putting strength, and he's putting attitude into his stock.
yeah,
And attitude is the one thing that makes a good racehorse, an attitude to win.
yeah.
And that's what even Tom, that one that you've touched on there. I was going to ask that question, and like we see a lot of Crystal Oceans and Poets Words coming through now. And is
Mm.
that the standout for you? It's the attitude and how these
Oh, it's
horses.
absolutely like Crystal Ocean can get you a small, big, fat, thin. It can get you all sh shapes and sizes, Crystal Ocean. Whereas Poet's Words are quite similar. He throw 90% of his stock would be the same type of model. And I love that type of model. He throws a lovely, athletic, strong, scopy mover. And I like that in a horse.
So you're not even necessarily looking for a particular like a stay and chase or a speed horse. You just want the package, what you see in front of you.
Yeah,
And
I mean, when they've ran, you can kind of develop where you're going to put them, whether they'll be 2.5 mile, 3 milers, whatever. Very, very hard to say that with a store, other than its pedigree tells you X, Y, and Z. But I knew Elvis's brother; he couldn't sing. People say that to
yeah,
me.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So it's very hard to pigeonhole a horse. They've got to go and do it then.
Is that fella behind you on the wall your favorite of all time, Mr. Envoi Allen?
He's probably he was one of the most exciting. But we have one more.
Oh, right, okay. A new one.
Well, you've seen him once. I think this horse is the most impressive
Where did he
debut
win?
Ascot.
Oh, Wind
Oh, that's
Beneath My
right.
Wings.
I
Oh,
think
okay,
I
okay.
think
Talk
for
to
a
me.
debut runner of mine, he's the most impressive in 15 years I've been doing this.
Wow,
I've
wow.
never had. Now, he has a long way to go to match him, but visual impression on violin wouldn't have done that first time out.
Yeah, okay. Because the forms worked out well as well
Oh,
from that race.
that was a monster race. That was
10 or
the winners.
12
The 12 of
winners.
the 14 won last time out
Wow. Yeah,
on the
yeah.
day.
Mm.
I had a horse beating 42 lengths in that race that I bought fresh perspective. He's come out and
Oh,
won a
yeah.
maiden hurdle with his mouth open,
For
done
James
everything
Stone.
wrong and done everything wrong and still won. So horses that are not sighted behind them are coming out and franking the form. And this horse hasn't come out of fourth gear.
And
Do you-
Tom, just on him, would you have obviously he went through the sales, he was running in Ireland, he had a couple of runs in Ireland before he went. Would he have been on your radar, or did he
He
just
was
come off
on
your?
he was on my radar from day one after Pat rang me. So he rang me and asked me a lot of money for a horse that was after winning a good to firm Cork bumper. And I
Mm.
said, well, that's not for me. That's not going to happen. And then he ran him 70 days later, and it just near 2 months, over 2 months, and he got beat. And it was Ballinrobe in the middle of end of August. And I went, well, he's not that good, is he? But I hadn't seen the race, and I went home that evening and watched it, and he still travelled through the race like the best horse,
Mm.
but he blew up. And then I rang Pat to see what had happened. He said, it's my own fault. I chucked him out in the field for a couple of weeks after Cork, and he does everything so easy at home that I never really gave him much of a blow. And one of Emmett Mullins's came and passed him later on, but at no stage did he ever look like he was going to beat him. And then 2 weeks later, he went to Listowel on soft ground and he destroyed them. And I went straight in, got the deal done. So and he was by Free Eagle. A nice enough page, black type in it, but all flat. So no one was kicking the door down for a Free
Yeah.
Eagle at the time. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
and the horse was flashy. I had one owner in particular, and I wasn't long about telling him when he won by 18 lengths in Ascot. He said, "Oh, he's far too flashy for me. He looks like Tonto." I sent him a text message that said, "Bet you'd like to own Tonto now, wouldn't you?"
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There you
So,
go.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
so I like, and vice versa. He doesn't mind texting me when I put one to him, and he says he didn't look as good as you thought he was. So you got to have a bit of banter with people as well. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Of course, and even with him, Tom, like when he ran in that bumper, even the deal going through, are you watching that race live, waiting to press the button, or is it
Live.
yeah the
Ah, well, well, not even live, but I know the port of call for Pat was to come straight to me. We'd already
okay
set up, we'd already established a kind of a deal on him as such. We kind of knew where he wasn't going to get paid, and now I needed to tell him where he might get paid, and we meet in the middle somewhere.
yeah
So yeah, so no, it was a lovely. Pat Flynn came over and spent a night with me, and we went to Pipes and watched them, and the owners were down. So it's all a feel good factor. Now, if he comes back and does this year what I think he's capable of, I think he's one of the best two or three horses in England.
Well, do you think this is the one that could put Pike back on the map effectively? Not that he's ever gone anywhere, but
Yeah,
it's
you
a
only you only get you only get left off the map if you don't have the horses. And once you have the horses, you can be on the map for as long as you want.
yeah,
Do you
yeah.
know what I mean? So I'd say it's more so he hasn't had the like of this lad round him.
Would you? Well, I don't know if you're a better man or not, Tom, but would you consider this fella one of the better looks at the Supreme at this early stage?
Well, I've backed him a 40 to 1 for it.
Well, there you go. Say no
there you
more. Yeah,
go, Joe, answered
Yeah.
yeah,
firmly.
that was it. Say no more. Say no more. He's got a nice one called Parchment as well, Tom. What would you
Yeah.
think of him?
I bought him in France after he won in
Mm,
Clairefontaine, and real sharp, racy type. And he showed a lot of boot, a lot of class. And Noel George was very complimentary, said he'd win on the flat. Now, when he arrived with me, and he spent about 10 days with me here, he was a dusty brown. His coat wasn't great, just coming from France and that. The horse I seen 2 weeks ago, and actually this afternoon, I seen him again. He's changed color. He's a dark bay. It's a different animal, and they like what they're seeing. Brilliant. The form has worked out amazingly. So brilliant. He looks to me. He looks a juvenile contender for hopefully March, the Triumph Hurdle.
yeah, excellent, excellent. Tom, you've had a long-standing relationship with Paul Nicholls.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been talking about the fallout, but that's not quite the case, is it? You still speak
We've
to
we've
him
had no
regularly.
fallout. We've
Yeah.
had no fallout. He done what he thought was right for his business. We've had a few lean years of having a good horse, which is evident to everyone. But we were
Mm,
buying, most yards can only allot so much funds each year to their buying power, and we probably allocated too much of it to buying stores for the last
okay.
5 or 6 years, which left us a bit weak on the actual farm side of it. That's fine. We you pays your money, you takes your chance, and we just didn't find as many as we thought we should have.
Yeah.
But I actually think now this year some of them are going to come through and take all before them. But that's grand. He had to do something for his business, opened it up. Megan's buying a few, Anthony Bromley's buying a few again, and Paul's bought 4 or 5 off me as
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah.
there's absolutely no fallout. The whole world wants to see that we've had a bust up, and well done, Paul, getting rid of Malone and all this malarkey. But like,
Yeah.
water off a duck's back. I run a good business, and I pride myself on doing the best I can, even if the outside world can't see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we said, Tom, like you don't manage to find horses like Envoi Allen, Native River, Brave Man's Game without having the proper eye.
Yeah,
Since
yeah,
since not moving away from it, but taking a slight step back, business for other yards has that actually grown for you in the sense that people go, well, hang on a minute, we got
massively,
we got we got Tom
massively.
Malone here, like you're
It's definitely opened the door up, and people now believe that they can have a go
okay.
at having the best horse.
Have you enjoyed that as well?
Of course I do.
Different,
It's dealing with different people. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
and I enjoy that. I've bought a lot of winners for Ollie Murphy, Tim Vaughan, Jamie Snowden, David Pipe. Like
yes,
I pride myself in being able to pick up the phone to any trainer in England and they will listen. I
yeah.
pride myself on that. I
Yeah,
pride
so
myself on that.
yeah, so you should. That's incredible. That's again where people just like to try and make up a story and throw it out there. But just on there, you mentioned Jamie Snowden. I'm part of the racing club, so I've got a piece of a horse called Wendigo, Legendary Luke, Kearney Dairy. I mean, the only horses that we've got from you look to be seriously smart. So
I'd say your best one there is Wendigo
yeah,
by at this present time. Like if he does what I think he is, he's going to be single figures for the Brown Advisory.
yeah,
Do you know what
can't
I
beat
mean?
that. Yeah,
And
yeah,
he should have been placed in the Albert Bartlett last year.
Oh,
You know,
definitely.
he got murdered at the wrong time. So since we've bought him, with the exception of being fifth of 20 in the Albert Bartlett, which he should have been placed, he's never been out of money.
yeah,
He
yeah,
is such a beautifully honest, staying horse that should jump a fence like, well, he does like a cat. So
yeah, yeah.
roll on the staying chases, staying novice chases.
We've got him entered on Wednesday, but we're still just waiting for
You need plenty of rain.
that bit of rain. He's by
Yeah.
Great Pretender, who's obviously got Lossy Mouth, Benny Bay Jr.
I bought one of the first of them, Mr. Mole.
Oh my God, I remember
Oh
Mr. Mole.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, for Jake. Yeah,
Mr.
JP.
Mole, AP called time on his career on him the
That's
day
right. Yeah,
he
yeah.
rode him at Newbury.
Wow, wow, it's incredible. And you mentioned there briefly earlier, you mentioned sort of that's all right, Gino,
Yeah,
and then you mentioned fresh perspective. Same owners now, I believe, with Jamie
yeah,
Swanton as well,
yeah.
sort of thing.
Hugh and Jane Glyn Davis, lovely people. I actually was with them this afternoon trying to get them to buy a new one. So
Okay.
hopefully that works.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the difference when you're buying French horses and point to pointers, apart from their size and the different sort of races they're running in? Do you look for something different, or is it again it's still the same Tom Malone outline that you want?
It doesn't matter where you go to buy a horse, you're still buying the same horse.
Yeah.
I mean, I would suppose in Ireland more horses would fill my eye for what I like to buy.
Hmm.
Because remember one thing, in France, within reason, they're carrying 10 stone 3, 10 stone 5 on their backs.
Interesting. Okay.
When they come to Ireland and England, they're carrying 11 7, 12 stone. Now, if you have a slight 16 hands filly that's 450 kilos, she's going to struggle to carry 12 stone.
Yeah.
Whereas
Interesting.
if you've got a big 16-2 chaser in France, or a 16-1.5 is plenty big enough, but you have a bit of substance and a bit of strength, they're more likely to be able to carry the
Hmm.
weight in the long run.
Yeah.
Hence
Okay.
why, like I went to France on my one of my last trips late in the summer there, and I spotted I'd looked at 90. Now I wouldn't have taken home 80 of them because they just wouldn't have suited me or the system.
Yeah.
But I spotted one unraced and I went, oh my God. So I tried to buy it. I'm not selling it. Tried to buy it again, not selling it before it ran. It then went and finished. Now it couldn't to me, when I seen it, it looked lovely, big and barley. And I think they ran it 5, 6 weeks later. There is no way it was ready first time out. It finished fourth.
Yeah.
And then I tried to buy it again, but the woman bred it and it was in her yard. She wasn't selling it. It then went and won, and then it went and won a listed hurdle at Otay, and it's now called It's Now.
It's Gino.
It's
No.
Gino.
Oh,
It's
it's
called
Gino.
It's
Yeah.
Now. All right.
Wow.
So he to me unraced was an Irish English horse,
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
and now
Yeah.
she turned down a huge six-figure sum for him.
Wow. Okay.
Huge.
Do
And
you
Tom, just
find?
even on France, I might just jump in. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, you have Willie, who's a mega power force out there. Like, compete with them lads. Like, how would you be getting your edge, or like, how would you be beating them to that? You say, like,
You won't, it's like little apples are sweet. You just have to be, you just have to pinpoint one and do, like, remember, they are so big, they can't
yeah,
do everything.
yeah,
So I and
Mm.
other people who are trying to compete against them, you kind of have to do the legwork on the ground, find the one and just be ready and hope to hell you can beat them. Because you could catch them on a week where they've just bought four the week before and oh, it's another horse to them, whereas it's the one to me.
for you. Yeah,
And that's the difference. And be lucky. If you're not lucky, but if you, I think the key is not having to think about is he big, small, fat, thin? Does he suit my style? Is the pedigree good enough? You know all of this, and no more than a pint of pointer on a Sunday. I know all this information before he lines up to run his 2.5, 3 miles on a Sunday. The minute it happens, I'm in prime position to say, right, what's the deal? Let's go. That's
yeah.
done, dusted. Whereas other people are having to think about it for 24 hours. If your homework done, you can tidy it
Your
up quick.
groundwork beforehand stands
Yeah.
for a hell of a lot.
Massive. It's the only thing. It's the only thing that matters now.
I suppose timing, you got to be in there quick as well. A lot of these French horses are being bought after one run when
Yeah.
go back 10 years ago, they'd be running three, four, 5 times before sort of being picked up. Is that again, Tom, where you'd have to try and get some sort of edge and
Well, the
have the
edge, like
agents in the right place.
I remember when Paul bought big books, Masterminded, Cauto Star, they were all grade one performers.
Mm.
They were all actually grade one. Like when Paul looks back, he thinks, how easy was that?
Yeah.
Them horses were 400 and 500 grand as grade one performers.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
they're running in a maiden hurdle for 400,000 and 500,000. So there's a lot more to it. And you know, seeing them four or five, six times is brilliant. But the problem is what's left for four or five or six runs now, you can't buy, or it's the best of what's left. The boys are handpicking all these first time outers.
What about English to Irish pointers? Do you see a lot of difference in the quality in
So
those
it has
horses?
to be. You walk into an Irish paddock on a Sunday afternoon, and there could be 5 to 800 grand's worth of stock walking around the paddock. You walk into an English maiden, there's 150 to 200 grand's worth of stock. So straight away, less than half of the quality potentially on pedigree and substance and that, and less of them. But having said that, they are cheaper and you can get a bit more value potentially. So you have to keep an open mind to it all.
But inevitably, you end up buying more from Ireland effectively.
Oh God, yeah. Well, there's more ready at your fingertips to buy.
Yeah.
There's thousands out there ready to be sold at any given time.
Yeah, interesting, interesting. Um, a horse like for this year that has been spoken about quite a lot is Al Kairos. David Maxwell's having that dispersal sale.
Yeah.
Any interest there at all, Tom?
Hey, listen, of course you'd have interest, but it's been muted that they had a big offer already that obviously David has turned down because it's going to the sales. I wouldn't get involved in that sort of money. He is a beautiful, beautiful, fast, speedy sort of horse, but may not be a chaser in the making. And I think when you go
Ah,
and spending, he's only 16 hands, or at least he was when he won his pint and I seen him. He's not a big horse. That won't stop him from being a chaser, but it just, if he doesn't jump fences like he does a hurdle, that might stop him
yes,
from the
there's
next
almost
thing.
like a bit of caution then going into those sort of sales, and because it doesn't always correlate, does it? We saw like the likes of Tiger, or he was tiny, but he's a Grand National, but he had no problem
A
sort of
hundred
moving
percent. So you cannot, but Tiger Roll was 110,000
up. Okay, okay,
after winning his 3-year-old bumper, or
right.
90,000, whatever. They weren't spending 500 grand,
Mm, sure.
because I can guarantee you now, Gigginstown would not have owned that horse if he was sold for 400 grand at a sale.
Yeah,
He was a 3-year-old at the time. They had a drought of 3-year-olds, and it took them 2 or 3 years to get to the point where they thought, well, sure, where can we go now? Sure, we'll have to jump a fence. And they found out he jumped fences. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So,
sure,
so,
sure.
so it's down to price as well.
Yeah, okay, okay. When you look at a horse, for example, like No Drama this end coming through for
Yeah.
Nicholls this year, and a lot
Mhm.
of people talk about how his general MO is he'll find a nice bump horse, he'll jump a hurdle, and then he'll go to the shallow hurdle, for example. Does he strike you as that typical sort of horse? I know I said typical, I use that quite vaguely,
Yeah, no, he is. He is.
but a chaser in the making, is
Oh
that what you
yeah,
say?
but you're all them horses that have gone. Stage Star went there and won
Yeah,
it.
of course, yeah.
Brave Man's Game went and won the Challow. This horse looks, the way he quickened at Warwick that day, he looks at least a decent black type
Mm,
performer. Well, if he is, he's going to be in the mix in this country, depending on maybe if some of the better horses come from Ireland. But you'd like to think that after a run or two, he'll sort himself out to see which sort of horse he is.
yeah, sure, okay. Game of Inches is another I believe you bought.
Yeah,
For
he's
the
he's
horses.
he's with Willie Mullins. He
It's
looks
just
a smart horse. He looked a smart horse in Punchestown when he won his bumper, and I'm sure like he'll have his novice. Like he's a was he five rising six or six rising seven.
yeah.
So he'll crack on over jumps now this year. He will, and there'll be no way. He's had all the time to mess around now early in his life. He has to get on and do it.
What are the nicer sort of point to pointers you think you've maybe purchased in for this season or maybe last season? Did you have something to do with Lemmy Caution? Excuse me if I've got that wrong.
No, no. Gigginstown bought Lemmy Caution out of
Okay.
Monk's Grange. He looked very, very good that day. He
Hmm.
looked extremely good, he did. So, um, what have I had? Um, Ferry Park.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
a mare by Walking the Park. She was trained by Colin Bow and she won in Drumaham by 9 lengths. She looks pretty smart now.
Does she? Okay.
Very
I've heard
smart.
her name. I haven't looked into her
Mm,
too much, sort of thing.
yeah, she's very good.
Hmm.
And
Interesting.
a mare that got beat this evening in Uttoxeter, which I was livid about. Sappho's Word.
Oh yeah, for Jamie Snowden.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
was
what?
livid. I look at if we could. Yeah, I'm sure if Izzy could ride it again, she'd have let her stride on. They were doing half for the first mile. They were doing 22 mile an hour. They
Yeah,
were absolutely crawling, and it was never going to suit that mare. But what I did like is she did quicken off that,
yeah.
had them all in trouble, and
Mm,
then just one come and done her. But I just think if Izzy could have ridden the race again, we'd have won.
yeah.
But she's a winner without a penalty now, so she'll win next time out. But she's one for the future. I really like her.
Yeah, it sort of turned into a little bit of a sprint, didn't it?
Yeah, of course it did. Yeah,
The-
but the beauty was she was able to sprint. There was still six or seven behind her, couldn't sprint.
mm,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
So yeah, no, I like her a lot. I like her a lot.
What about actually going racing, Tom? Do you go racing for a jolly? I'm putting it that way, or is it always business for you? You know?
Always business, always business. Like I'll go racing within an hour and a half or 2 hours of me. I'll go racing 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah, good
So I
stuff.
get the horses done in the morning, in, shower, get in the car, go meet Dave Pipe, meet Paul Nicholls, whatever. We get in the car, have a bit of a chin wag. It's just you're not going to meet new people. Like I,
Cool.
because I buy so many horses, I've got to be there trying to sell them all the time as well. So that suits me really.
Yeah, I suppose it's always about trying to keep ahead of the game. You don't want
Of
to
course it is.
let
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
drop to you, sort of thing.
yeah.
Like, um, Sire's coming through this year. Order of St. George. Anything take your fancy with him?
Yeah, Henry de Brom had a very good one win the other day. He was a half brother to Captain Teague. He's called Ace Brannigan.
Hmm.
He looked very smart. Yeah, I've been around a few. I don't have many of them myself, but I keep a very close eye on him. He throws a very athletic, sharp sort of horse without maybe a lot of big, bulky substance.
Yeah,
But I like what I see.
yeah.
And you know what? Another one I just wanted to touch on, Tom. I know you bought the Nathaniel at the store sales for Owen Daly again,
Yeah.
but like obviously you know he chucked out. He's thrown out a Concertista. He's thrown out a Zanaher. Would you say that lad could be an early on horse, or is that
Um,
the
well, we've entered him from the Land Rover bumper, because he was that type of horse. He was a really strong, athletic, manly horse. Do you know what I mean? That should
yeah
be able to come bumper, should be ready in the spring for a bumper if he has any ability.
yeah
But unfortunately, we don't know that until he starts going faster, do we?
D- And these sort of horses, when you buy them, you're entering them for the bumper on purchase day, aren't you? When you're at the
No, we
sales.
the bump. Yeah, that was the Derby sale,
Got
but the
you.
Land Rover's different. So that entry
Okay.
was only this week or Friday,
Interesting.
maybe today, maybe today. It was one of them days lately, anyway. So.
And put a personal question for you with regards to your eye. Are there any horses you say this is definitely a chaser, and then turns out to be like a 2 mile speed horse, or your personal view? Obviously, this is what you're all about. Is if you think you see a 3 mile chaser, do they generally become 3 mile chasers? If you know what I mean.
Within reason. Most horses don't surprise you. The ones that do are very good. Because when you buy that sort of horse, like Stick to the Plan won the Persian War
Mm, mm.
last thing. He's a 2 miler. There's no doubt about he's a 2 miler. He'll get 2.5, but he could drop him back to 2 mile with the speed he showed the other
Ah,
day. No problem.
and that's why
No
they held
problem.
him up then. I suppose that's why they held him up
Well,
and used the
well,
speed.
all his work at home was very good, and he was dropped in Galway when he won the listed hurdle.
Okay, okay.
And his work had been he switched on in his work, and not many could get him off the bridle. So the boy said, we'll definitely drop him in. And they were just a little worried he wouldn't get the trip. He definitely got the trip. But that's a good sign because he can stay and he has the speed for 2 miles. He's very good.
Have you ever dipped your toe into flat racing? I'm pretty sure you bought some nice. I think you've had a
Yeah.
group winner, haven't you, Tom, on the flat?
I bought Casper Netcher early in
Yeah.
my career, and I bought My Dream Boat.
Do you get as
I
much
won.
joy out of that, or is it all you national hunt at the heart?
90% of my business is national hunt. And I just found I was trying to do everything 10, 12 years ago, and you can't do everything. What you end up doing is missing a lot because you're stuck in flat mode, you're stuck in
Yeah,
jump
yeah,
mode.
yeah, yeah.
And I pinhook a good few foals to yearlings on the flat. I really enjoy that.
Mm,
There's no conflict of interest, and then I just stick to my national hunt.
yeah. Okay. And just last thing, I just wanted to ask you about when you go and see a horse at the sales. They're having a jog and a walk past you
Yeah.
constantly. Other owners. Is it really important to have a horse that can handle those sort of situations as a youngster because it gives you a bit of an idea about their mindset? For
Yeah, of
example, if
course.
you,
Like.
Yeah,
they've done an awful lot before they've got to the rubber mats at
yeah,
sales. And if they can't handle the pressure, they won't have got to the rubber mat because they'll have invariably got beaten. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So normally the ones that are pretty forward, they normally get there because they're mentally secure. Do you know what I
Sure.
mean?
We haven't even structured this, Tom. We just said we just wanted to talk to you. We could have
Mm.
you for hours, but and then going back to point horses when you're buying pointers,
Mm.
some trainers may dial these horses up to the nines for their point run. Some might leave a little bit of improvements come. Is that something you've got to be really careful of, or is this where you having good connections benefits you because you'll get a truth answer out of a point-to-point trainer on what this horse has done and the potential? Obviously, your game
Absolutely.
is selling horses, isn't it, effectively? So,
Yeah, and I know the ones that ready them, and I know the ones that just bring them through nicely. Hence why I'm never afraid to buy the second or third as the best horse in the race.
yeah,
And that's down to my own knowledge of what the trainers like to do with them prior to a race. And I can normally that's I make my judgment call on that then.
that's absolutely invaluable, isn't it? You just
Yeah.
you can't just buy that. That's again that right there, Tom, is your hard work, isn't it? Through your career, getting these connections, building that trust, rather than them trying to flog you a horse and you trying to flog a horse on. It's like
Well,
it's
well
all
the
about
thing is, they don't do that to me. They know it's not for their business is no good because
yeah.
the one man that can come and give them what they want when they have the right one is me and a handful of other boys. But I can normally get it done pretty quick.
Do you feel the minute you took your eye off the ball or the moment you say, I'm going to have a day off, I feel like you're on the go all the time because you don't want to miss anything and you can't really, can
Well,
you?
I'll be tomorrow now. I'll be in Newton Abbot.
Okay.
So I got a handful of runners down there tomorrow, and for no other reason than the owners will be there. I've still got plenty to sell. I'll be down there mingling with them. Sunday, I'll be watching everything that moves. Like our toys on tomorrow. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? You've got a pint of pints on this week. The Isapani is on the Isapani's on tomorrow in our toys. So these are all races that I got to keep an. I have an alarm clock on my phone, and every day I push in every time of a race that I need to be watching, and I very rarely miss anything. Very rarely. It's
Yeah.
very hard to keep on top of it all, but we do our best not to miss it.
And who's the horse you're most proud of, Tom, that you found? There's so many, and if I'm asking you to give me one name, because it is harsh. I'm asking you a harsh question here, but
I think Native River possibly because he was Mike
yeah,
Tyson. He was Mike Tyson. He
I
was.
like that. Yeah.
He did not know how to get beaten. He was a knockout horse. He was. When he was right, he won the Welsh National and the Hennessy in the same year. No horse has ever done that before.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And he swung through the Welsh National. Like the minute he turned for home, Dickie was swinging off and trying to slow him down. So he was just, yeah, he was teak. He was. He didn't know
He,
how to say no.
he looked like a chaser as well, didn't he?
Oh
He was
yeah.
always going to be like a proper brute of a chaser.
He's retired with me now. He's with me
Have
all the
you
time.
got
Oh
him?
God, yeah. He's been with me for the last 3 years. He he
Wow,
op
that's
he
amazing.
opens up every envelope. He does. Jesus Christ, he
Yeah. Oh
gets
my
more.
God, that's
He gets
amazing.
more
The
stage
postman
time.
greets him at the door.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It's,
he's
it's,
been to he's doing the ROR shows now. He's taken it like a duck to war, and I sent him home to Ireland this year for the summer to compete in all of them. I think he had 8 shows and won 7 of them.
wow.
And the only day he didn't win was in Dublin at the horse
In the
show.
order,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing. So see, that's the thing a lot of people will miss. They don't understand like that these horses are really well taken care of at the end of the career, and I bet you're glad to have him at the yard
I
to
love
look
having
after
him
as
around the
well.
place. It's not just because it's native river. He's just a gentleman.
Yeah.
He's
Tom,
easy to have.
did you ever consider like going into training or anything when you finished
Not,
riding out?
do you not know the lunatics of trainers I deal with daily?
True,
I
yeah,
know
you see
what
it
they,
firsthand now, yeah.
I know what that does to them people. And I can drop the phone and just smile to myself and say, well, that's not me,
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunately for them.
You can go like this and just
Yeah.
finish your day. Yeah, yeah. Oh, Tom, this has been amazing. Honestly, I don't want to take up too much more of your time because
Yeah.
what I'd like to do is come back to you in the future and have you back on, and me and Sean can just burn your ears off again sometime. But any last
I might
questions
just
then?
pick him for one, Tom. I might just pick him for one if I can, if you can answer. Would there be anything now? Obviously, me and Joe are massive point-to-point fans. If you can say, would there be anything
Mm.
coming up now that it would be a pedigree and a horse you went and seen, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to see him come to the track.
Yeah, there is. He's in Donegal Doyle's. He is a brother to Quilando, who won the Fred
Mm,
Winter for
mm.
Nicholls, and I bought him out of France. and Donegal Doyle bought this lad at the Derby sale. I think he gave 120 grand for him. So
Okay.
he was no cheapie, but by God, he's a beaut. He's a beaut.
And
I
with
don't
the
know what
him
I don't know what he's named yet, but
him go, and he would have been straight back on your radar when he comes back out on a playing point.
I've seen him plenty. I've seen him twice now. I've seen him as a store. I've seen him in Donnacha's last year. He didn't run in the spring because the ground went, but he's back in, and I seen him. Jesus, a big, muscly, strong horse. He looks the part now, and he moves like it as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing him now again.
Oh, that's
Brilliant,
spot
though. Thanks
on.
very much.
Yeah, Tom, look, thanks so much for your time. Honestly, I can't tell you how much we appreciate this. We talk to trainers and jockeys on the channel all the time, but it's been actually been an honor to speak to you in the sense this is different. This is the roots of the sport and behind the scenes that people don't always see. So with your time being just invaluable, thanks very much for this. I do appreciate it.
No problem, boys. Anytime.
Thanks, Tom, and all the best of
Cheers.
luck for the season. I hope you do have the best of the season, but the rest
Yeah,
of the season
with
as
a bit of
well.
luck. With a bit of
And
luck.
thanks everyone that's tuned in. I really do hope you've enjoyed this episode there with me, Sean and Tom. We appreciate it a lot. Please do click like and subscribe to the channel. It just helps get our content out to a wider audience. And best of luck to Tom for the rest of the season.